Welcome back to the DRS zone, the only place living every apex at full throttle. The engines have finally shut down in Barcelona, the garage doors are locked, and the trucks are packed. But let me tell you, the panic in the paddock, it is just getting started.
It really is. It's that classic post-testing hangover, isn't it?
It is, but this time the headache feels a lot worse for some people.
Yeah, the silence of the track is deceiving because the internal comms channels, I mean, they are screaming right now.
Screaming is right. We are looking at a grid that is completely flipped on its head. We've got Lewis Hamilton topping the charts, but is it a glory run or is it real? We have a correlation nightmare that is literally keeping technical directors awake at night.
Because their wind tunnels are lying to them. That is the big story.
It's huge.
When the map doesn't match the territory, you're lost. And right now, a few big teams are profoundly lost.
Exactly. And we're going to get into the scariest rumor of them all. Lift and coast in qualifying. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Lifting off the gas on a pole lap. Plus, we're going to connect some dots on why Fernando Alonso might be the only driver on the grid with a secret weapon. A connection to 2018 Le Mans that you will not believe until you hear the numbers.
It sounds like a conspiracy theory until you actually look at the spec sheet.
And then what?
Then it looks like a prophecy.
Okay, let's hit it. The 2026 reality check. Headline results are in. Lewis Hamilton, fastest time. But it wasn't a runaway, right?
No, not at all. The top three were incredibly tight, and we saw 3 different manufacturers in that mix, which is, promising on the surface.
But the vibe around Mercedes is different.
It is. It's not just that they were fast on one lap. It's the way the car's behaving. The reports coming out of the paddock suggest Mercedes looks frighteningly strong.
Oh.
And I don't use that word lightly.
And it's the reliability, too.
It's the reliability combined with performance.
We're hearing whispers about an engine trick, aren't we?
We are. And in Formula One, trick is usually just a synonym for innovation everyone else missed. The power unit regulations for 2026 are so complex, and it appears Mercedes has found an advantage in how they deploy or maybe harvest that energy. It just puts them a step ahead.
What does a step ahead really mean this early on?
It's about efficiency. Look, when you have reliability this early in a new regulation era, that translates directly to points down the line.
Because you're not wasting time fixing things.
Exactly. While other teams are stopping simulations to fix hydraulic leaks or, debug software, Mercedes is refining their setup. They're chasing tenths while others are just trying to keep the car running. That compound interest of development time is huge.
Then speaking of development, let's talk about the air. Everyone thought this 2026 active aero was going to kill the slipstream.
We all did. We thought, okay, cars change shape, air gets dirty, no more towing.
Right.
We were wrong. Completely wrong. The engineers are actually shocked by this. When these cars go into straight line mode, let's call it X mode, the tow effect is massive.
More powerful than before.
Significantly more powerful.
Okay, so we need to clarify the rules here because this is huge for strategy. It's not just open the ring and go.
Correct. The new DRS rules require a 0.4-second gap to activate. That's incredibly tight. But here's the technical detail that blew my mind. The front and rear wings don't have to open at the same time.
Wait, hold on. So you can stagger them. Open the front a split second before the rear. Why would you do that?
It's all about balance. Imagine you are entering a corner. If you close them at different times, you can shift the center of pressure instantly. You can stabilize the car on entry or get better traction on exit.
So it's not just for drive reduction, it's an active handling tool.
Exactly. The driver or the map can manipulate how the car rotates. But the headline remains. If you are behind someone on a straight, you are going to get sucked in towards them. The slipstream is alive and very well.
Which is great news for overtaking, but here's the bad news. The energy crisis. This is the rumor that scares me the most. We are hearing that drivers were doing lift and coast during qualifying simulations.
And it's confirmed. This isn't just a rumor anymore. To manage the energy deployment over a single lap, they're having to lift off the throttle at the end of straights.
On what should be their fastest flat-out lap.
Yep.
That just feels wrong. It feels fundamentally anti-racing. Qualifying is supposed to be foot to the floor, absolute bravery.
It's the nature of the 50-50 power split. You have so much reliance on the electric motor now. About 500 horsepower from the battery.
Yeah.
But the battery isn't infinite. If you deplete it too early, you clip.
And clipping means you run out of the electric boost.
Exactly. And you suddenly lose 500 horsepower. It's like throwing an anchor out the back.
Yeah.
So teams are terrified of high-speed tracks like Monza. They're realizing they might literally run out of juice before the finish line.
So we're going to see drivers managing batteries while trying to take pole. That is a serious mental rewiring.
It just changes the definition of a perfect lap. It's not just bravery anymore, it's about efficiency.
Which brings us to the biggest headache in the paddock, the correlation nightmare. We have some exclusive intel here. After just 3 days of testing, multiple teams are suffering from severe correlation problems.
Let's define this clearly for everyone. Correlation is everything. You design a car in a wind tunnel and in CFD, computer simulations, and those tools give you a number. They say, this wing produces load X.
Right. The computer says, congrats, you have 100 points of downforce.
Exactly. Then you build a real car, put it on real asphalt, and your sensors tell you you're actually only getting 90 points. The math isn't matching the asphalt.
And our sources are saying the track data is worse than the sim data. That is a disaster.
It's a total disaster scenario.
Yeah.
Because you've built a car based on a lie. If your tools are wrong, you don't know how to fix the car. Because any upgrade you design might also be wrong. You're flying blind.
You have to stop developing the car and start developing the wind tunnel.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that takes months.
Now, we can't name the specific teams yet, but our intel suggests Aston Martin is not among those named in this leak, which doesn't mean they're perfect, but...
But the finger wasn't pointing at them. That's a crucial distinction. But for the newcomers, it's looking rough.
Yeah, how are the new kids doing, Audi and Cadillac?
They're struggling. They're behind the curve. And the gap looks pretty significant.
But there is a surprise in the midfield, and honestly, I did not see this one coming.
Alpine.
Don't say Alpine.
It's Alpine. They actually look decent. The data suggests they're projected to be ahead of Williams, ahead of Haas, and definitely ahead of Audi and Cadillac.
Alpine potentially leading the midfield.
Seems they finally just let the engineers work.
Okay, let's pivot. We talked about energy management, heavy cars, lift and coast. There is one guy on the grid who might be looking at all this chaos and just smiling.
Fernando Alonso.
The Le Mans prophecy. Why is Alonso the only one who might not be sweating this new formula?
Okay, so we have to go back to 2018. Alonso wins Le Mans with Toyota. Now, look at the car he was driving, the Toyota TS050 Hybrid.
Okay, break down the specs of that Toyota for us.
It had a V6 biturbo engine, making about 500 horsepower.
Yep.
And had an electric hybrid system, producing another 500 horsepower.
Wait, that's a 50-50 split.
A perfect 50-50 split, just like 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Total output, roughly 1,000 horsepower. Now the weight, that Toyota was somewhere between 870 and 900 kilograms.
Okay, I'm seeing where this is going. What about energy recovery?
It recovered 8 megajoules of energy per lap.
Unbelievable. Okay, so now hit me with the 2026 F1 rulebook.
The 2026 F1 car, total horsepower, around 1,000. The split, 50% internal combustion, 50% electric. Energy recovery, between 8 and 8.5 megajoules. And the weight, almost identical.
That's not a coincidence. That is a mirror image.
It's a clone. The physics are the same. Fernando Alonso has already mastered this specific driving style. Heavy, with that much electric torque.
What does that driving style actually look like?
It's called V-lining. You can't carry massive speed through the middle of the corner because the car's too heavy. So you brake late, turn the car sharply, make a V shape, and then you just point the nose and fire.
Point and shoot.
Exactly. And because you have that massive electric motor, you have instant torque. Alonso knows how to use that to blast out of corners. It's energy management warfare, and he's a veteran of that war.
That is the aha moment right there. And the irony. Toyota is increasing their presence at Haas this year, just as F1 morphs into the car they dominated with.
It's poetic, really.
Mm.
But for Alonso, it's a tangible advantage.
We'll see if he can use it.
Yeah.
But he needs a car that works. Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the NEWEY factor at Aston Martin. We mentioned they might be safe from the correlation crisis, but they have their own secret weapon, Adrian Newey.
He joined late, yeah. He didn't get into the factory until March, started in the new wind tunnel in April, so the timeline was tight.
But the quotes coming out of Aston are very confident. Newey claims they have the best wind tunnel in F1. He called it a point of inflection.
And when Adrian Newey gets excited about a wind tunnel, you should probably listen. And we know they showed up with an extreme concept. They did not play it safe.
So what's the verdict? Can he pull it off?
I mean, it all comes down to the engine. At the end of the day, aerodynamics is still the biggest differentiator in F1. If you can make the air work for you, you win. But, and this is a big if, Honda has to deliver.
They need to pull a 2021.
Exactly. In 2021, the Honda engine wasn't miles better than Mercedes, but it was close enough. If Honda can get this new 2026 unit close to where Mercedes is, Newey can win with aero. He can bridge that gap.
But if the engine deficit is too big,
Then even Adrian Newey can't save them. You can't outdesign a 50-horsepower deficit on the straights. Not anymore.
so it's all eyes on Honda. The chassis looks extreme, the tunnel is working, Newey is smiling. It's a dangerous combination for the rest of the grid.
It is. And remember, Newey made Red Bull champions with facilities that were older than what Aston has now. Giving him state-of-the-art tools is a scary thought.
It's going to be a fascinating development war. Now, before you wrap this up, I have to read the required statement. This segment is part of our news coverage of recent F1 events.
And a reminder for everyone listening, Barcelona is not Bahrain. And Bahrain is not Australia.
That is the golden rule right there.
The cars we saw this week were launch spec. They're just verifying systems. By the time we get to Melbourne, the bodywork will change, the floors will change.
But the core problems, the correlation issues, the energy management, those don't just vanish with a new front wing.
Absolutely not. Those are baked into the DNA of the season. The teams with those issues are in a race against time just to understand their own car.
So here's the question I want to leave you all with. We know the teams are hiding their true pace, sandbagging. But with lifting toes confirmed for qualifying, are we entering an era where the smartest driver beats the fastest driver? Is 2026 the year the sprint dies?
It's a valid question. If you have the raw speed of a Verstappen, but you burn your energy by turn 10, you could lose pole to the guy who calculated the lap better. It really shifts the skill set.
A chess master era of Formula One. I love it. Look, if you want to stay on top of this, you need to be following us. Smash that follow button on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. We are dropping updates and analysis every single day in the DRS zone. Do not miss out.
We'll be watching the data from Bahrain very close.
You bet we will. Until then, keep your foot down, or I guess lift and coast if you have to. Lights out, and away we go.